And in Romans, he asks the big questions. Are we righteous? Paul is asking the question, are we good, virtuous, upright, integral, worthy, moral, ethical, just, honest? Are we innocent? Are we blameless? Are we guiltless? Are we sinless? Are we saintless? And he answers with a resounding no. Without God, we are self-righteous. Does our good outweigh our bad? Or we're unrighteous, where we just live for self. And he asks, is there any hope for any of us? For Paul, the good news of Jesus is so good because the news is so bad. That all people are cut off from God and subject to eternal judgment because of their inbuilt tendency to ignore who God really is and disobey him. That's the picture that Paul paints in chapters 1 to 3 in Romans. And these truths provide a foundation to the good news that will follow in the weeks that will come as we move through Romans. But there's a couple of main truths in these first 3 chapters that we just need to grab hold of. See, first, God is the creator. In verses 1 to 25, it says, they exchanged the truth about God for a lie and worshipped and served created things rather than the creator, who is forever praised. See, the creator, the word that is used in Greek means the manufacturer, the original former, to create, to make. See, there's no way of misinterpreting what Paul is saying here. He's saying that the Creator is the one who made us. And if we don't serve God, he's also saying that then we worship something else. If we don't worship God, then we will worship something else, because we are created to worship. See, whether it be success or money or riches or a comfortable life or relationship, anything that comes before God in our world that we give our time and money to is what we worship before God. See, but he was the one who created us. He is the manufacturer of us. And he goes on to say that God is sovereign. God is unchanged. See, in chapters 1, verses 18 to 20, it says this. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godliness and wickedness of people who suppress their truth by their wickedness. Since what may be made known about God is plain to them because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power, divine nature, have clearly been seen and been understood from what has been made. So people are without excuse. See, in nature, God is revealed. Spoke about that a couple of weeks ago. We talked about the Word of God. God has placed his qualities into creation. When we go on that bushwalk, or when we stand on the shore and we see the waves crashing, when we're in relationship with God, we can't help but think about how great God is. See, all and everything points to a creator, something divine that has created us and created the world. How can you believe that something so great and so wonderful has come together by accident? We believe in a divine architect, someone who's put it together. See, God is unchanged, and it all points to him. But we suppress it through our sin and our disobedience. But we are without excuse. We see it in God's creation. It's up to us whether we believe that or not. And the next thing is we are his. In 1:23 to 21 it says, for although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look more like a mortal being and birds and animals and reptiles. See, what it's saying here is that we know about God, but we choose not to give him thanks. We choose not to believe. We deny that God is real because the sin, the disobedience that's in us, it darkens our heart. So therefore we avoid submitting to God. It says they neither glorified him nor gave him thanks. In Ecclesiastes 3:11 it says he's made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. See, God has set eternity in our heart. He's already set something in our heart to acknowledge him. And here he's saying that they don't and give him thanks, and therefore they move away from that, and they exchange that glory of the immortal God into something that is the mortal. And so we exchange the immortality and the glory and the creator for something that is like, an idol, or just something that is something else that is not God. See, if we don't worship God, as I mentioned, we will worship something else because we're created that way. So at the core of an unrighteous heart is a refusal to worship God. Now, this is the scary part.